Let me tell you something about me. I don't fall easily. I've been through a divorce, a career pivot at 48, and the kind of grief that leaves you staring at the ceiling wondering if that leaky spot above the bed is a metaphor for your life. I've seen things. I've built a wall or two. So when a man held the door open for an elderly woman outside my favorite coffee shop and then turned around, smiled at me like he just stepped out of a Hallmark movie, I didn't swoon. I blinked. Hard. Everything all right? He asked, like he genuinely cared. And here's where the story begins, not with champagne or roses, but with a paper bag of groceries and one incredibly well-timed compliment. I'd just come from a women's shelter where I volunteer on weekends. I was tired, my knees ached, and I smelled like discount disinfectant and hope. But I was proud. That morning, I helped a woman and her 2 kids escape a very bad situation. That matters. So yeah, when Mr. Good Deeds offered to buy me a coffee, I thought, why not? I've earned it. He said his name was Logan. Tall, clean-shaven, not too polished, the kind of guy who wears jeans that don't scream midlife crisis, and somehow makes oatmeal sound like a personality trait. Smart. Attentive. Just normal in the best possible way. And when I say attentive, I mean this man looked at me like I was the most fascinating person on earth. I made a joke about being over 50 and still not knowing how to fold a fitted sheet, and he said, "That just means you're wise enough to know what's not worth fighting." I mean, come on. That line should be illegal. We started seeing each other once a week. Then twice. Then nearly every other night. We'd sit on the patio of that same coffee shop, laughing about life, talking about grief, about reinventing yourself after loss. He told me he admired how strong I was. That most people just gave up, but not me. I kept showing up. I should have seen it coming. 2 months in, he told me about his startup, a donation app. He called it Heart Forward Giving. Something about reducing overhead for charities using direct routing. I didn't get the tech jargon, but it sounded noble. Like him. Then he asked if I could help test the interface. Just hook up a card, he said. You won't be charged. It's just to simulate user flow. No red flags. Just his voice. Calm. Warm. Familiar. So I did. I connected my backup debit card, the one I kept for emergencies. You know, real emergencies, like a new transmission or replacing a leaking roof. Not Logan turned out to be a walking spreadsheet of lies emergencies. The next day I got a bank notification. $79. Then $142.11. Then $211.65. At first, I thought it was a glitch. I mean, I don't even spend that much on groceries unless there's a sale on shrimp. I texted him. Nothing. I called. Straight to voicemail. I emailed. Bounced back. And that's when the stomach drop happened. That slow, cold realization that you're not just unlucky, you've been targeted. I rushed to the bank in my house shoes and an old hoodie that said live. Laugh? Love? Which, let me tell you, had never felt more ironic. The woman behind the counter gave me a tight-lipped smile that screamed, I've seen this before. Are you saying you voluntarily gave this person your card information? Well, yes, but I was helping him tester. Unfortunately, if there was no unauthorized access, we can't file it as fraud. Can't file it as fraud. The man used my kindness like a skeleton key. He walked into my life, poured himself a cup of my trust, and vanished, taking every dollar I'd been saving since 2020. I sat in the bank's parking lot for 2 hours. No music. No movement. Just my reflection in the rearview mirror, a woman with a warm heart and a lesson learned the hard way. And when I got home, I did what every smart, heartbroken woman does when she smells a rat. I Googled him. Name, app, company, donation app scam, boutique charity startup fraud. And there it was, buried in a Reddit thread from 6 months ago. A username. A story. A woman named Ellen who had the same smile, the same pitch, and the same hole in her checking account. I wasn't just scammed. I was part of a pattern. He wasn't Logan. He was a template. What happened next changed everything. You do not want to miss how this unraveled. You ever have one of those moments when the curtain gets pulled back, and suddenly the whole show looks fake? That was me, sitting at my kitchen table, staring at my laptop like it had personally betrayed me. It was quiet. Too quiet. Just me, a chipped mug of coffee, and the sick feeling that maybe love is just another app we forget to uninstall. I opened my inbox, still no reply from Logan. I refreshed his profile. Gone. Phone. Disconnected. And just like that, the man who loved my strength vanished like a magician's rabbit, only with my money. That's when something in me snapped. See, you can only kick a woman so many times before she stops crying and starts typing. I Googled everything. His name, the fake company, the app, even the phrases he used: heart-forward giving, beta user access, minimal processing fees. Turns out those weren't charming quirks, they were recycled scripts. That led me to a forum called Digital Vigilantes, a community of people who'd all been scammed by someone too good to be true. And let me tell you, it was like a support group meets the FBI, but powered by caffeine and fury. I posted my story. Within an hour, I got a message from someone named Nora. She didn't ask me how I was feeling. She asked for screenshots. That's how I knew she meant business. We hopped on a call. Nora was sharp, the kind of woman who probably fixed her own sink and didn't wait for customer service. She spoke fast, but everything she said made the room feel smaller. You got hit with an empathy con, she said. That's a thing. I asked. Oh yeah. They build trust, emotionally disarm you, and extract either data, money, or, in your case, both. They don't just want your cash. They want your silence. Silence. Not this time. Nora pulled up a shared database of known scammer aliases. There he was, Maya Logan, listed under at least 6 different names, including Tyler, Greg, and, my personal favorite, Ethan, spiritual tech entrepreneur. Same face. Same phrases. Different cities. Different stories. And all of them ending the same way. A woman left with less than she started and more questions than answers. I wasn't just conned. I was drafted into a club I never asked to join. That night, Nora looped in another woman, Leanna from Florida. Guess what? She had met Logan too. Only her version wore glasses and said he ran a non-profit for veterans. He also said he wasn't ready to talk about his past, and then asked for help testing his donation platform. You see the pattern. He wasn't dating. He was collecting vulnerabilities like trading cards. And we were supposed to smile and say, well, at least I learned something. Not today. I started collecting my own data, not just on him, but on the platforms he used. Payment processors, hosting domains, ad placements. And you know what I learned? He didn't do this alone. Somebody approved the ads. Somebody built the website. Somebody handled the payments. And none of them asked a single question. Let's call it what it is. A system that works real hard to protect the scammer, and not a single soul for the scammed. I tried reporting the site to the payment platform. Their answer: thank you for your report. Due to privacy concerns, we cannot share any action taken. Translation: we'll keep taking the fees, thanks. I filed a complaint. I flagged the domain. I even contacted the hosting service. You know what they said? The domain owner appears to be in compliance with our terms. Of course he is, your terms don't include ethics. Meanwhile, Nora and I were connecting more dots than a preschooler with a box of crayons. We found cross-referenced photos, IP traces, even a time-stamped video from a local cafe security cam where Logan, or whoever he is, had lunch 3 weeks ago. Suddenly, he wasn't just an idea. He had a body. A location. A shadow. And something shifted in me again. I went from angry to focused. This wasn't just about me anymore. This is it. The moment of truth is next. Everything I thought I knew. About to flip upside down. Stick around to see how I finally stared him in the face, and what happened next. So there I was, 3 weeks deep in this digital manhunt, with more tabs open than the average tax accountant in April, and eyes so dry I was basically blinking on fumes. But then it happened. One of Nora's contacts, a tech guy with too much time and just enough morality, set up a honey trap. A fake profile, complete with a photo of a perfectly normal woman, and a sad backstory that would make any scammer lean in. Widowed, recently inherited, looking for someone who values emotional honesty. Guess who slid into her inbox? That's right. Logan. Or Tyler. Or Greg. Or Ethan. I don't even care anymore, let's just call him what he is. A predator in a button-up. He set up a Zoom. Claimed he wanted to connect face to face. And we, the women he thought were just memories in his transaction history, were watching. The call started. And there he was. Live. He looked older. Nervous. That charming half-smile was now a full-on forced grin. You could see it, the math running behind his eyes. He knew something was off. But it was too late. We recorded everything. The face, the voice, the background, even the art on the wall behind him, which, by the way, was crooked. Figures. We handed it all to an investigative journalist named Alistair. The man's been in the game since before smartphones were a thing. He's taken down tech giants and uncovered scams in nursing homes. The kind of reporter who talks slow, writes fast, and doesn't flinch. He built the story. Timeline, victims, aliases, tech trail. And he gave it the perfect title. The Man Who Monetised Trust. It hit the web like a thunderclap. Thousands of shares. Emails poured in. Women from Arizona, Oregon, Nova Scotia, all with the same story. Different names. Same ending. And guess what? The platforms still stayed quiet. Ad networks. We don't moderate third-party content. Hosting sites. This account is under review. Payment services. Due to privacy, we can't disclose. Blah, blah, blah. Translation: we'll keep cashing in as long as he's not charging us. And then came the interview requests. People wanted to hear from me. Not about him. About how I got from coffee shop to Crusader without losing my mind, or at least not entirely. So I said yes. I sat down in front of the camera, no script, no pretense. Just me. A 52-year-old woman who believed in love, got used like a test dummy, and still refused to disappear. I said, "We teach women to guard their bodies, but not their hearts. We warn them about alleyways, but not in boxes." What happened to me wasn't about being naive. It was about someone turning kindness into a business model. And that should scare everyone. The response was unreal. I got messages from daughters, moms, retirees, even a few men who admitted they'd fallen for similar schemes. One woman wrote, "You made me feel like I wasn't stupid. Just human." That's the win. Because here's the thing. I didn't get my money back. But I got my voice back. And I used it, loudly. A month later, I got an email from a non-profit called Digital Defenders. They offered me a position helping victims of online financial fraud, real work, real change, real results. Now, I spend my mornings helping women spot red flags before they become headlines. And sometimes, I walk past that same coffee shop where I met him. But I don't stop for coffee anymore. I stop for every woman who still believes a smile means safety. Because now, I'm the warning label. He took my savings. But I took back something more powerful. My name. My fire. And a spotlight big enough to burn the whole system awake.